Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for stopping by. So today I wanted to talk about the nitty-gritties of detoxing from all screens with your kids for 2 weeks. So if you are a high-tech family like we are, we love our technology, right? Like we have all the things, right? We have the tablets, the laptops, the video games, the TVs, like the computers, you name it, we probably have it, okay? We do, we love technology. And technology kind of gets a bad rap, okay? It can be a beautiful thing. It can be used to spread so much goodness in the world. However, with that being said, when it comes to technology and your children, there has to be some limitations, right? And this is where me and my husband really fell short for a little while. And I think you get used to your routine and it just becomes so easy for your kid to just, flip their tablet on and watch a show, or for them to, put a video game in, or to watch, a movie. And were they ever watching anything bad? No, we always supervised what they watched. But I noticed, especially the last couple months as we were heading into summer, their noses were just always at a screen. And I'm like, this isn't healthy, like this isn't good for us. And so, because instead of going and playing outside, no, I don't want to play outside. No, I don't want to play with my toys. No, I don't want to do this. I want to watch my screen. I want to play my game. I want to watch the TV. And parents, I feel this so hard. Do you guys have kids who want their tablets to be watching one thing and then the TV watching another? And it's like, what is wrong with you? Like, one show's not enough. We need two, and we got to watch them at the same time. And I'm just like, this is ridiculous. Like, this is absurd, okay? So I read this book called Digital Detox by, I can't remember her name. I will tell you. But the book was all about Molly DeFrank, okay? Digital Detox by Molly DeFrank. And I got the Audible book because I am the best Audible book reader. So we got this book and I started listening to it, and she was very much so like me, right? Like her kids, they watched too much screens, they invested too much time in that, and she wanted to make a change. And so she called this the digital detox for 2 weeks. And so it's basically, you tell your kids the night before and you go cold turkey. There is no trimming here and, weaning here. No, it's just cold turkey, 2 weeks at least, 0 screens. So I also want to put an emphasis on this. I made the personal choice, me and my husband both did, to go social media free probably about a month before we decided to do this. It wasn't a permanent thing. It was a temporary thing because we both saw that, again, social media, it's not just damaging our children, it's damaging everybody. And we just noticed that we were scrolling a little more than we would have liked. We were spending more time on our phones than we would have liked. So then we had decided together to make that change and to take a break. Speaking of break, hang on. It's a Monday morning here. Okay, coffee is always a necessity. So we had decided to take that social media break, and I think that was really nice because it kind of got us away from the techie world in some format, right? We got off social media, and that's pretty huge, especially in today's society. And so I was talking with him and I was like, something's got to give. He's like, I agree. Like, our children, who are they? They're moody. They're short-fused. They were getting in trouble more often. Timeouts were more common. They were fighting. They weren't happy individuals. And I was just like, where's my kids at? Like, this isn't them. And I was talking to some friends of mine, and they both detox their kids. And I'm like, look, I want to detox these kids, and I have no idea how. How do we do it? What do I do once I detox? What do we do day to day? You know, I was kind of stumped. And so I came across this book, so I listened to Mama Bear Apologetics. It is a fantastic podcast. I highly recommend it. And they had this author from Digital Detox on there, and she was talking about her book. And I was just listening to it, and so I was like, I was listening to her story, and I was like, this sounds a lot like our story. So then I went and I bought it, and I fell in love with it. I was like, this is so relatable, right? This isn't meant for, you know, people who use very minimal screens to begin with. Like, this was just very real and relatable to today's society. And so I read the first half of the book because that's what's recommended to do before you detox. And then me and my husband came up with a date. We're like, okay, we're taking away all screens, and we're going to let the kids know at dinner. That's what we did. We sat down at dinner, had dinner like we always did. We looked at the kids. We said, all right, here's the deal. We're going screen free for 2 weeks. And then they look at us like, what does that mean? All right. So they were just like, what are you talking about? And so we told them, like, you know, screens, your tablets are going to be gone. You know, your video games, the TVs, anything that has a screen, gone for 2 weeks. We explained to them that they weren't in trouble, and this is important because we do use technology as discipline at our house as well. So it is important to make very clear the intentions of this. It's not that you're in trouble. You did nothing wrong, okay? You are not being punished for anything. This is us helping you. There is a whole world outside of your 8-inch screen, and we need to go and enjoy it. They weren't terribly happy about it. However, they also were not as bad off as I expected. I was expecting total breakdown, emotional mess, and they weren't like that. It was a disappointment. It was a confusion. It was, you know, lots of questions, but they were like, okay. And I also think that part of them thought that we weren't serious. And so they were just like, all right, I guess. And so we took them to bed, and we took all the electronics and stashed them away, hid them, locked them up, and for 2 weeks. So one thing I kind of want to touch on briefly too is I want parents to realize just because you're detoxing your kids from all technology does not mean that you have to detox from all of technology. Our children are not our equals, okay? We have authority over our children. And just because we give them a rule does not mean that we are given that rule. With that being said, we are supposed to be good role models for our children, okay? So no, I did not sit on my phone all day while I'm sitting there being hypocritical. Y'all, you children, go outside and play. Go do something with your life. Go explore the world. Screens are bad for you, as I'm like this all day long, okay? However, I kept my phone. I used it when I needed to. And at night, when the kids went to bed, I was exhausted, so I watched TV. Because I did not make that rule for myself, I made it for my children. As adults, we know our limitations, at least we should. Our children do not. It is our job to set those boundaries in place for them to help them in the future. What's our goal as parents? To raise God-loving, successful, effective members of society children, right? That's what we want. Successful can mean all different things. I'm not just saying rich, okay? You can be successful in life and have no money. So I did want to touch on that because we are not equal to our children. And so just because we give this rule and this boundary to our children does not mean that we have to obey it as well. Because in this society and today, I see a lot of times, you know, parents are just like, and she touches on that in the book too, which was cool. But, you know, we are not equals. We have authority over the children. We are in charge of the children. The children are not in charge of us. So I thought that was good. Hang on. So then it's like, okay, so now what do we do? I made a list of just a bunch of things for us to do without screens. And it could be little things, you know, we had quiet time every day, and that was, you can draw, you could color, you could read a book. We did lots of read alouds. We are a very reading friendly family. Went to the library, checked out the max amount of books you could check out, came home. We had a little gazebo put up at our house, and so we would go under there, and it was great. We would just sit down around each other. I would read for an hour. The kids would decide to go out and play in the yard. Now, I will say the first 2 to 3 days were the hardest, especially the first day, because they just kind of look at you like, what you gonna do to entertain me? Because you have to now teach them how to play, how to go off and be independent. They're not going to know how to do these things right off the bat, especially if they don't do them to begin with. So I found my inner child, because me as a child growing up, you would have to pull me in from playing outside, and, you know, playing is a kid's job. When I was a kid, I was great at it. And so, but kids today are not. You know, they need all of these, like, and, you know, this total just, they need so much stimulation in their brains. And that's what I was pulling away from, right? I'm like, no, we are not going to have all these dopamine hits in our brain from these screens. We are going to reel it in, and you are going to create your own dopamine drive. And that's by going out and working for it and playing and enjoying the earth that this wonderful Lord gave us. And so they did. We built just some things that we did. We went on walks around the neighborhood, and we noticed little things. We, you know, just in nature. We built a teepee in the back of our yard with a bunch of big sticks. We played outside a lot. We played a lot of baseball. We went on nature hunts. We played with friends. We went to the park. We read books. We hung out inside together. We played board games. We did puzzles. Oh gosh, we did so much. They built forts inside. And by about a week in, they were using their imaginations, and they were playing. They were getting along. Now, my kids are not perfect. Nobody's kids will be perfect. Yes, there were still fights. I was able to go in, though, and see where my kids' weaknesses are, you know, with interacting with each other, and we were working on that. My infant, in the 2 weeks that we had the screens off, she started crawling and talking more and pulling up, and I don't know if it was just, you know, coincidental, but probably not, right? She also would watch the screens that were in front of her, and I took that away from her, so now she's like, well, better get busy doing something else, and she did. And it was a really good 2 weeks. The hardest part was the last few days. It rained. And it rained, and it rained, and it rained, and it rained. I am not a mom who likes to go out and play in the rain. So we hung out inside. I had to get a little more creative. And I'm not gonna lie, there are hard days. Oh, when we cooked. Oh my gosh, we cooked so much. Sorry, I just remembered. We cooked so much. That's when I started making sourdough bread and baking, and it was just because you have nothing else to do, right? I was off social media. I was, you know, we had the TVs off during the day because I wasn't going to watch TV if I took it away from my kids. Like, we're not going to have screens on. And so we took everything away. And so what else was there to do? We did a lot of laundry. That was another thing. We caught up on all of the laundry, all of the house chores. I purged through the house, and it was just, we got a lot done. It felt very motivating until the last few days when it rained and it rained and it rained and it rained. And there were hard days because there are days you wake up as a parent not feeling like, being a level 10. Some days I can only bring in a level 3 or 4, right? Like, parents, we're exhausted. And that is okay to acknowledge. We are tired. We have kids. Some of us have older kids, babies. Some of us have both. We work. We're dealing with all the grown-up things. And we can't always bring that level 10 energy for our kids. And that's okay. So on days like that, it's okay to be lazier. We didn't turn any TVs on, but we read more, we hung out, we stayed inside, we drew. And there was days where I just looked at my kids. I'm like, go entertain yourselves. I can't. Mommy's tapped out. I was up all night with the baby. We have a lot going on, and that's okay to have those days. And I think that it helped my kids too, because they were just like, okay, Mommy's not going to entertain us, so let's go find something that will. And they did. So we did it for 2 weeks, and then we decided, because it's summertime, and we were getting ready to go on vacation, and so we were like, we're going to bring back screens, but with modifications, because that's a whole nother thing, right? Okay, so you took the screens away, you did the 2 weeks, but how do you bring it back? Are you just going to go Amish and not have any technology? Yeah, that wasn't an option for us. So me and my husband sat down and we're like, okay, so how are we going to bring back technology in a more positive way? And it was pretty, and it's going to look different for every family, right? Like, some things might work for us that might not work for somebody else, and vice versa. But for us, we're like, well, no more tablets, period, unless we're on vacation and we're driving in the car for long periods of time. We'll download certain stuff, and that's it. And so we completely took tablets away. We want, and we're limiting TV time. We're limiting video game time. We like to cap them out at, 1 hour a day. And some days we do better than others. It's summertime. I'm a little more lenient in the summertime than I am during the school year, because we don't have as much going on. And that's worked really well. My kids are doing really well with it. I do plan to do another 2-week detox come this fall, probably in September, when everything starts back, just to reel them back in again completely, get them on the school routine, and then I can slowly introduce back things. Because in healthy doses, TV can be fun, TV can be educational, and TV can be bonding. We would have family game nights on the TV when my husband and the kids will play Pokemon, and they get along, and it's fun. Everybody's engaged. We're bonding together. And again, this detox book, it goes on about that. There are things that can bring you together, and then there's TV watching and doing things to separate you and to just turn your brain off. And so we limit that, and that's all we can do. We try to keep video games and stuff at an hour a day in the summertime. It'll probably be less during the school year. We let them watch a movie or 2 a day, and then the rest of the time it's like, okay, go play. Go have fun with each other, go bond, and I will join in too. We'll go out and do fun things, and it's brought us together better as a family. It has helped, anxieties and depression as a parent, and it really just, I don't know, it brings us back to earth. It brings us back to loving, the world around us, wanting to explore, wanting to see God's creation deeper, and that's really just a beautiful thing to do. I highly recommend everybody do it. If we can do it, anybody can do it. And I believe that wholeheartedly. We were the techiest family ever. And I shied away from doing this for a while. So I was like, there's no way. We can't do it. Like, we love our technology. We were addicted to our technology. And the Lord was just like, you're doing it because I said so, and it's going to be good for you. And he was right. And, and of course, like, it was a big blessing on our family, and it's not something that I'm scared to do anymore. Some people do longer than 2 weeks. You could do a month, you could do 6 months. and it's recommended if you can to go a month or longer. I felt like we were, you know, the job was done. I felt done at 2 weeks. I felt like we had accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. And it's been going really well. So that is my video for today. That's all I have to say about that matter for now. I hope that it's helpful. I hope that it gives you guys some encouragement. And yeah, so until next week, guys, have a blessed week. Bye.